feels good to be on land again.
Are you sure that now is a good time to be switching fandoms when MLP is a state of crisis? Surfer Dude has 5 of the 6 elements of harmony, and he can attack at any moment.
I wouldn't worry too heavily about that.
Why not?
I know a guy.
Okay, explain this to me one more time.
There's a weird dice man right outside the door, and he won't let any of us out unless we give him contracts. And whenever we try to force him out of the way, he just says, "Don't mess with me," and looks at us very angrily.
Our army is over 100,000 strong, and you're stopped by a man with a dice for a head. Oh, why do I have to do everything?
He's not leaving that castle anytime soon.
Hey, has anyone seen Gent?
So, do you have the picnic basket?
Meow.
Ah, yes, a few pre-made barbecue hot dogs for me, and 1 giant fish for you.
Meow. Meow.
What do you mean I have something in my...
Hello, nurse.
Meow.
The episode begins in what was the once great Bright Moon Forest, as robots are going at it under siege. But the princesses are there to fight back, thankfully enough, as well as Bo, who's practically his own princess. And we then get introduced to something that I have slight issues with. A big character change in Frosta. I'll get into this a little bit more later, but don't think that this personality change has gone unnoticed. We also see that during this time, She-Ra is also battling it out with Catra again, as they're really duking it out. But while Glimmer is trying to do battle herself, the Princess of Frosties just keeps bugging her and getting in her way. And again, this is a big character change. Why is she being miniature Toph? Well, during She-Ra's fight, it is later revealed that it was just a hologram set up by Lighthope, who's currently training Adora in how to use her powers, which Adora is clearly failing at. But Lighthope reassures her that it's all part of the training, and that eventually she'll learn how to be a good She-Ra. It just takes time. Now, I gotta give praise where praise is due. At least Adora is trying to learn how to master her abilities, unlike last season where they just kind of winged it, and she was just naturally good at everything.
Is it also sad to say that Lighthope feels more real than most of the other characters?
Hey, at least she's doing something.
So, are we going to get around to talking about Frosty?
I'll keep that one on the table. I'm just going to chalk up her weird personality shift just to the heat of the battle.
Well, we later cut back to the Fright Zone, as Catra is currently training her old teammates in how to take on princesses, and even shows them exactly how to do it. Go straight for the heart. And it's clear that she's enjoying her new position.
Well, she goes to see Entraptra and Scorpina in order to get a field report. As it turns out, they are purposely attacking the woods in order to keep the princesses distracted. All part of Catra's master plan, as she wants to keep the princesses busy long enough for her to conquer neighboring territories. But our little Entraptra has an even better idea up her sleeves.
So, just FYI, we're still rooting for the Horde, right?
Yep, collectively they have more characters that we care about.
Gotcha, just wanted to clarify.
Well, we later cut back to Adora, Glimmer, and Bo as they're walking down the halls, as Bo realizes that they can't keep this strategy of constantly fighting the robots up forever. They need an actual plan. Adora tries to reassure him that they have everything covered, but ADD Princess pops up again. And she's just as annoying as she was on the battlefield, so clearly it's not the adrenaline. What's going on with this princess?
We also later cut to the other princesses, who quickly remind us of why we either hate them or really don't have strong feelings towards them. And we even get a surprise visit from Castaspella and the Princess of Diet Celestias. And these two. I hope you enjoyed seeing them, because they literally do not show up anywhere else in this season.
Meow.
You tell him, Leslie. How exactly are we supposed to get to know these characters if the show itself doesn't want us to get to know these characters? We can't just instantly like these characters. Well, we finally get on to the War Council, as Bo makes a surprise suggestion that instead of just destroying every bot they come across, they capture one, in order to dissect it and see if they can find structural weaknesses, and at best possible solution, find a universal off switch that would destroy the robots completely. Diet Celestia approves of this plan, and so their new task is apparent. Get a robot to dissect. But Princess Frosta wants to join in the fight too, but Glimmer says that she is to remain on base to guard their castle with Spinnerella and Natasa.
Wait, is her name Spinnerella?
I don't know, I don't care. They've only had one speaking role in 2 seasons.
Well, let's go ahead and address the other elephant in the room.
Oh, right. Yeah, I really like Bo in this scene. He's being proactive, assertive, and downright actually inspiring. I actually really like Bo this season so far, even though this is only the first episode. He's sort of like Diet Sokka, but that's a major improvement of what he was originally.
We later cut back to the Fright Zone where we see Lord Hordak, more animated than ever, as Katra and her crew are explaining their new battle strategy, as Entrapta introduces a new kind of robot, built from First One's tech as well as her own creations. It even has the ability to self-heal. Hordak is very impressed by Entraptra's accomplishments, but unfortunately she can't build any more than 4 because they don't have enough First One's technology. So, Katra knows exactly where they can get more.
And I would like to put a pin in this for a second, because Lord Hordak was more impressed with Entraptra's accomplishments than Katra's. Remember that, for it'll be important in the series. So we cut back to Team She-Ra as... Wait, why is Princess Tumbler leading them? Like, I know she's the main princess's daughter, but shouldn't She-Ra be the leader of Team She-Ra? I mean, it's kinda in the name. Is Princess Tumbler even qualified to be the leader of this team? Anyway, the annoying sack of Frosties shows up, even though Princess Tumbler told her specifically not to follow them. But she disobeyed orders, and since she's there anyway, might as well help out, right? Well, they managed to find a robot while scouting in the woods, and it's one of Entraptra's new ones. She-Ra quickly tries to take it out, but it's proven too much of a force to be reckoned with. Even in her full power form, it is way too strong and doesn't like being knocked around. And what's worse than one killer robot? How about all 4?
So, sir, should we help out?
Meow.
Leslie's right. They got this. Let's head to the bar. I hear there's a cartoon saloon here.
Oh good, Olga's branching out to other fandoms. Nice. Wait, she's not here, is she?
Relax, Alan. She might have a crush on you, but even she can't be everywhere at once. Well, during this upscale fight, Frosty shows up and starts pounding on one of the robots, but is about as met as well as you expect it to be. She gets thrown off a cliff, but Glimmer manages to save her in the nick of time.
But unfortunately that just leaves She-Ra, Bo, and the Pegasus to deal with 4 unstoppable robots. But they pay them no mind, and just kind of wander off.
That was easy.
Well, Princess Tumbler and Princess Frosties finally meet head to head in trying to figure out why exactly she's being an annoying sack of ADD and she needs to shapen up, otherwise she's off the team. Well, this makes her sad and she cries and runs away.
Okay, it's really time to address the Frosties.
Yeah, you're right. What exactly happened to Princess Frosties? She used to be one of the better princess characters. She was cold, she was orderly, she was up in your face with how better she is than you, but now she's turned into Diet Toph. Which, when I complimented Bo on being Diet Sokka, I genuinely meant that as a compliment, because it was so much better than what he was originally. But this new Diet Toff thing that Frosty's has going on, it just feels completely out of character for her to be like this. I know she's a little kid, and I know this is an exciting life, but this is completely against her character from before.
And given what we know about her from the first season, admittedly a little, but still enough, she doesn't really seem like the I'm gonna summon a giant ice hammer and crush this problem type of fighter. She seems more like the long-range Gara-like fighter where she just manipulates the elements to completely OP her opponent.
Just a shining example of characters being slaves to the plot. Well, the gang reunites and they're frustrated that they couldn't get their hands on one of the robots. But then they start questioning things. Why didn't the robots attack them? Why did they ignore the forest? They decide to come up with the conclusion that they're looking for something. Most likely, First One's technology. And She-Ra definitely knows where some is around here. But if they still plan on capturing one, they need a certain ice princess's help. So Glimmer goes to try to find Princess Frosty, as Princess Frosty is throwing a little bit of a temper tantrum. But her feelings got hurt and she's still a little kid, so I'll let that one slide. Turns out, the only reason she was acting the way she was because she doesn't really have a lot of friends. In fact, she considered Glimmer to be her first real friend out of anyone there. It's kinda weird, actually. Wouldn't it be She-Ra who would be the one she would latch onto, since She-Ra was the one who originally approached her? Why Glimmer?
Well, Princess Glimmer sympathizes with Frosties, as she exclaims that the two of them are actually very much in common. Reckless, irritable, completely disregard for the rules, and they sort of bond. Glimmer apologizes, and Princess Frosta accepts it, and is more than willing to help out again, in her own unique way. With so much bad writing here, I don't even know where to start. Then perhaps we should save it to the end.
Well, the giant robots go after Light Hope's tech, and Catra and the rest of them are just sitting by and watching the show. But then the princesses attack, and despite being completely overwhelmed before, they completely destroy the robots one by one, trying to capture them, and eventually succeeding to capturing one intact, where Bo removes the power source. And so the day is saved, and the princesses start glowing for some reason, which brings life back into the dead forest. So the princesses go back to Bright Moon, all successful and cheery and happy that everything worked out. While Bo is going full detective as he discovers a very, interesting discovery. She discovers that these robots were powered by First One's technology. And there's only one scientist he knows that can combine First One's technology with modern-day science. He discovers Entraptra's truly alive. And that was She-Ra Frozen Forest. Very weak start to Season 2.
For every good thing they did something worse.
They completely rewrote Princess Frosta's character for the sake of the plot. That is inexcusable. And I'm still trying to figure out why Princess Tumbler is the leader. Why can't She-Ra be the leader?
I like to give credit where credit is due, and say that Bo was probably the best character of the Princess Alliance, and of course, Catra and her gang were always a treat to watch, especially in Entraptra. As far as we're concerned, she can do no wrong.
It be just how she's written.
Regardless, if it wants to keep holding our interest at all, it's gotta really step up its game in the next few episodes.
Indeed, this episode gets a very big fail.
With a vengeance.
So, with that being said, we're the Cartoon Gentlemen, the organizers of chaos as Vintage Kings, and we'll see you all after we get a few drinks. Oi, barkeep, order up a few rounds,
as well as open a tab.
It be time to celebrate drinking up.
What?
I don't know, I'm just talking. Let's drink.
Now that I can get behind.
Of course, because no one serves beverages like Doc Stone.
Oh, great, not him